weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump met with law enforcement in D.C., praising their role in the federal crime crackdown.
Some incredible results. The results have come out, and it's like a different place.
He says violent crime is down and hinted he was planning to join law enforcement in patrolling the streets of D.C. Former top advisor to New York City Mayor Eric Adams, Ingrid Lewis Martin, pleaded not guilty to bribery and conspiracy charges. Prosecutors say she took $175,000 in bribes. The federal case against Adams was dropped after Trump took office. And art made by Snoop Dogg's leftover blunts is selling for thousands of dollars. Artist Erica Kovitz's Ashes to Art collection sold out fast, with pieces going for up to $70,000. Each work features blunts smoked by Snoop himself. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
This year marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina changed our city and our schools forever. New Schools for New Orleans is sharing After the Storm, a special series reflecting on the past 2 decades of change and progress in public education. Through videos, personal stories, and a powerful interactive timeline and data dashboard, we explore how our schools recovered, transformed, grew, and what that progress means for our students today. Discover the videos, data, resources, and stories behind the 20 years of change at newschoolsforneworleans.org/Katrina20.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Doing great. I'm back.
Well, before we hop in and talk about some news and talk about the upcoming election, and we're going to be looking at news that you want to know, need to know, of course, on this show this morning. But let me just start with Friday, which was a really nice gathering and a showing of the original pilot for Treme. And it was a really nice event. And it was really good to see like the original program that was the pitch that led to 4 wonderful seasons of Treme on HBO, looking at New Orleans post-Katrina. I mean, that's what the show is about. The show didn't happen, 3-5 months after the storm, but it took a few years to develop, so it came on about 5 years later and ran for 4 seasons. And we had several of the folks who participated in the Treme filming, and it was really nice to see it again, but also a little painful because there are people in the film who are no longer with us.
Right.
They're just, bunches, not there anymore, but there he is in the flesh and his voice. And, it was really nice to see, but a good reminder that, some things are just a point in time, and you capture it for that moment. You hold on to the best of it, and, we're going to lose some of us along the way. And Graylin Banks participated in the talkback and the conversation after the screening, and he did more than hold his own. And I hope he'll talk about that on the front porch a little later this morning. But there was so much good stuff going on this weekend. And I went to something Sunday night, but let me just say, was there anything in special before Sunday on Friday or Saturday that you did or that you heard about, Chief?
Well,
before Sunday.
Oh, before Sunday. Well, there were a lot of events, but none that I participated in.
Okay.
There were celebrations going all over the city. You know, one of the things when you mentioned Graylin Banks, a lot of people don't know this, that Graylin Banks was with me at the Hyatt Regency during Katrina.
Yep.
He was working there, and
Yeah.
I mean, he did an outstanding job.
Yeah.
That's where we really like bonded. And you know, he's a civilian, but he handled himself extremely well, you know, under a lot of pressure. So I want to publicly thank Graylin for the support that he gave the police department during Katrina while he was working at the Hyatt Regency.
Yeah, he talked about that as a part of his own personal trauma, having to, a unexpected storm of that magnitude, putting him in a situation that he didn't realize he would be working with you guys
Right.
that way. And the hotel, I forget the numbers, but the hotel accommodates normally X number of people, and
Right.
he had thousands more people because it was a good spot to have people as things were being figured out. And he said the defining moment for him was being able to work with others and make sure that nobody lost their lives.
Right. I mean, you
People
know,
were taken care of.
it was a very fluid situation because things was changing instantaneously. You know, because we never knew the magnitude and the damage until it actually started happening as it relates to the flooding aspect. And the Hyatt was a refuge for many, many people, and they were so generous with their supplies. And at the time, you know, supplies were very scarce,
Right.
and they shared with the people. You know, they were helping people with little kids and older people. And you know, I can't believe it's been 20 years. You know, and you start reflecting. You know, everything is so, you know, sudden when you think about it, when you stop and look. I mean, and you know, Katrina has changed my life forever. And a lot of people, my birthday was on Katrina. August 29th was the day of my birthday. And I'll never forget that. This is going to be the first year in 20 years that I'm celebrating my birthday.
No way.
I've you know, it took me 20 years to get closure. You know, I went through many emotions.
Now,
you know.
when you say haven't celebrated, obviously you can't help but have the birthday
Have
as
the
long
birthday.
as the Lord has you on this earth.
Right.
But have you had a cake?
No parties or something. I mean, you know,
Yeah, I mean a little something at home.
my kids
A
will
little
give me a little
something
cake.
at
Yeah,
home.
not a real celebration
Yeah,
where
right,
people came and
right.
celebrated my birthday like they used to do. You know, my birthday was a big event
Yeah.
before Katrina.
Mm.
You know, because you know I went through ebbs and flows, and you know, and you know when you go through an event like that in the position that I was in, you know, you're never ready for it. You're never ready for it. It's something that it just is. You know, and I would say 90% of people in my life are different. You know, I got rid of about 90% of the people in my life after Katrina because a lot of those people weren't really there for me when I needed them. But the 10% that I do have, they are tremendous people. You know, and it really has enhanced me. It has helped me to grow. You know, people that I thought I could never count on, I counted on because they stepped up. People I thought I could count on, they abandoned me. And you know, I don't have any ill will. I don't have any anger. But you know, like you don't know until you know. And you know, when you look at people who step up for you at those times in your life, you know, it's like Troy Henry. He was always close to me, but during Katrina, I mean, he came through. I mean, this man picked me up when I was down, when I was at my worst.
Yeah.
You know, when I lost everything, when everything was taken from me. I mean, this man helped me pay my bills. You know, this man called me 3 and 4 times a day. I mean, how do you, you know, you deal, how do you thank somebody for that? You know, like Michael Samuel, the Big Soon. I mean, he was there for me, you know. And you know, and you need people that love you.
Yeah.
You know, not people that love the chief. And I found people who loved me.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Well, I'm glad those people found you, and the ones who were with you before that stuck with you. They stuck with you because look
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. New and
Look-
improved.
Yeah, look at you now. Look at you now. So, of course, this is the big week, the big Katrina 20 anniversary. There are all types of events and activities all week and into the weekend. There were things. There's the big mural in the lower Ninth Ward where the levees broke, and that was has been up for a number of days, weeks, but the official recognition of the work that B. Mike and his young folks in Eternal Seeds has done was recognized, and there was an official program on Saturday evening, and there was a kickoff to the Katrina 20 activities on Sunday night at Ashe Powerhouse, and that was with Tremaine Lee's High on Hope on High Water, 20 years after Katrina. If you missed it, you missed quite a film, quite a documentary. The brother and his team put so much work into pulling that together. And I know there's some folks who, they want nothing to do with any of the documentaries or the films or the conversations and the panels and that kind of thing. If you make an exception, I think this might be the one, because the word hope is the first word in the title.
Right.
And it does look at some things that are going on now that are tied to Katrina, but with hope it through the eyes of the people that they talk to and hope for the future. And so I think this one has a good focus that will allow you to check it out. So it's on Peacock. Tremaine Lee was a cub reporter at the Times-Picayune at the time, actually covering police, covering the cops.
Well, I knew him very
at
well.
the time. And so that's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah.
Because you were there, he was there. He had a different role than you did.
Right.
But it was a good film showing on Peacock. But do you remember that?
Oh yeah, Tremaine was a really good guy. He was very fair. He was tough. He was tough. But if you take the job of chief, you can't be thin-skinned. But him and I had a very good working relationship. We had a mutual respect. We weren't like hang out buddy friends or call each other see what's happening friends, but we were we were two people that had a job to do, and we respected each other in doing our job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going on this week, and you'll hear about some of those things during the week. We're going to save most of our firepower for the end of the week toward the actual anniversary, but we don't want you to miss some of the things going on for those of you who want to be a part of some of it or everything that you can get to. So I just want to bring your attention to katrina20.org. Which is the website for the Week of Action, which launched officially with the Tremaine Lee film and program last night. And there's a Katrina 20 local planning committee connecting community members in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So all this week,
Right.
there are going to be programs and events from August 24th through August 31st. And there are far too many to start mentioning.
Oh, it.
But I will tell you that the first full day program is at Ashe this morning, right during the latter part of the show and right after the show, if you're interested in going there. But check it out for those of you who are online at katrina20.org, katrina20.org. And if you know folks in Arkansas and Mississippi, particularly in Jackson, Gulfport, you're going to want to look there and see what are some of the things that are going on. And again, there's stuff every day. My wife and I were looking at the list, and we're like, oh, we think this would be great. This would be great. This would be great. We got through the week. We looked at our list. We said, we're tired.
I tell you, I've been invited to numerous things, and I hope people understand that I can't go to everything, but yesterday was a special day for me.
Well, we're gonna talk about that. Let me segue to that.
All right.
So we got the city of New Orleans has its Katrina 20 activities on Saturday. So you can check that out and start planning at katrina20.nola.gov, katrina20.nola.gov, and check out what's going to be coming up later this week. I'm sure we'll hear from some of the folks connected to planning these activities and these events. But right now, before we get to the break, I want to recognize that there was an extra special event yesterday honoring a couple of people, I put it that way, including our own Chief Eddie Campos. Now, and I don't know if you can see my my note with a pic, but if we can, I want people to see this piece of hardware. If you can, I want people to see this piece of hardware that the chief walked away with from Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages.
Rock of Ages. Yeah. So there was another guy, Chief Honoré, but you were honored as a part of that service in that program yesterday.
Yeah, General Honoré is a tremendous person, and we've had a relationship over the last 20 years. Katrina's bonded us for life, and to be honored at Rock of Ages by Pastor Jonathan Everett and his staff was incredible. I mean, that is a first-class organization, and I guess I took a very circuitous route to the place where I'm at right now. I remember the first year for the people being honored for Katrina, I wasn't even invited. I was called at the time by the superintendent, and he said the mayor said he would rather that I not show up for the event, and I didn't get my medal. And I saw people walking around with those medals, and it hurt. It hurt, and but I respected his wishes because at the time there was a lot of controversy going on, and I it wasn't about being honored as an individual, but everybody on the police department who participated in Katrina, they got Katrina medals and Katrina pins. And when I was called by the then superintendent and told that the mayor would say it was going to be a lot of press there and it would take away from the focus of the ceremony if I would be honored with the rest of the police officers. And a lot of police officers.
But that's not what happened yesterday.
No, but a lot of police officers were very upset. But I told them, I said it's not about one person.
Yeah.
But yesterday made up for a lot of heartache and pain I suffered 20t years ago. And
what was that like yesterday? It was church service. Of course, Rock of Ages has been what an amazing job Pastor Everett has done in the last several years. To bring that church to where it is and to be involved in the community as much.
To have my closest family and friends there, to have my kids there. My daughter was 3 years old when Katrina took place, and my son was in my ex-wife's stomach. He wasn't out here yet. He was born. I told him he was a Katrina baby. And the tribute that Congressman Troy Carter gave me brought tears to my eyes. He is such a man of integrity, a man of stature, and a man of, this city. And for him to take the time to put that video together for me and General Honoré, and then for General Honoré to embrace me at that time, a man of that stature to share the spotlight with me and to be, honored with me, it was tremendous. When I look at it and I reflect on it, it's probably one of the greatest moments of my life. With like you said, snapshots in time. I mean, when I think of all the pain, and now I'm feeling pleasure from Katrina. Usually, I used to couldn't even say the word without getting something in the pit of my stomach that just sickened me. But now, a lot of those wounds are healed, and I'm telling you, Jonathan Everett, oh my God, I've never seen a young man so powerful at such a young age. I mean, he is so powerful. He is a very sagacious and perspicacious young man, and the sky's the limit for him.
Yep,
You know,
absolutely.
they were laughing. They said, Pastor Luda said, "You better come back here." I said, "I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving Franklin Avenue." But I tell you what,
he does have
he
that
had,
magnetic kind of
that's what my
feel.
sisters told me. My sister said, "Boy, the way you getting excited up here, Pastor Luda gonna have to shake." I said, "Oh no, Pastor Luda, that's my pastor.
Oh,
Pastor,
boy.
they lying on me back there, talking about I'm leaving. I will visit though. I will visit every now and then, no Pastor, but I ain't leaving."
Absolutely. Well, we're going to be going to break shortly, and as always, we will remind you that we have an important election coming up October 11th. So the deadline to register to vote by mail is September 10th. That's the September 10th. And then the online registration deadline is September 20th. And early voting is September 27th through October 4th. So please register to vote. Check your registration. Check the registration of others. Help them get registered and be prepared to vote. Well, we had a pretty big decision, big news with the what sometimes can be the controversial Wisner Fund, sometimes called the Wisner Trust. And so after the break, we're going to hear direct from the budget chair of the New Orleans City Council, Councilman Joe DeRusso. Right now, we're going to take a break. Remember, the talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. We'll get Councilman DeRusso on the line soon, but if you have a question or comment about Wisner, 504-582-9422. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM, the station that New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Good Monday morning. I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. The New Orleans Police Department is investigating a deadly shooting in the 7th Ward on Elysian Fields Avenue. Police say a man was found shot multiple times around 5:30 this morning. There is no word yet on a suspect. The city is marking the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina with events to remember the resilience and recovery of New Orleans. It all starts with a news conference at City Hall today at 10 a.m. Then on Thursday, the Katrina 20 March and Second Line will take place in the Lower 9th Ward, with the march starting at 11 a.m. and a celebration following at Hunter's Field. Tonight, New Orleans mayoral candidates will take the stage for a forum at the Lakefront Airport Terminal. State Senator Royce Duplessis, City Council member Oliver Thomas, and Council Vice President Helena Moreno will discuss key citywide issues like infrastructure, drainage, public safety, and economic development. Former WDSU anchor Norman Robinson will moderate that forum. The event starts at 6 p.m. with doors opening at 5 o'clock, and it's open to the public. And New Orleans East residents have another chance to hear directly from the people vying to represent them. The By the People debate series continues today with the City Council District E debate. Candidates will discuss the issues that matter most to their constituents and how they plan to address them. That debate runs today from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I'm Daryl Forges, and that's your headlines for WBOK. Have a great day.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. Cities across the country are struggling to provide affordable housing. But New Rochelle, a city just a train ride away from Manhattan, is working on a new approach that's bolstering affordable places to live. Led by Mayor Yadira Ramos-Herbert, the New Rochelle model is responsible for adding over 4,500 new housing units, with an additional 6,500 units on the way. Mayor Ramos-Herbert spoke to Bloomberg about how the city is using public-private partnerships and more to make it all happen.
We worked with the community here. What do you want to see in New Rochelle? And through our public-private partnership, we've enhanced plazas, we've brought murals, we've increased EV charging stations, we've bought a black box theater right to our main street, we're opening parklets. And so really working together, providing assurances to developers, everybody essentially wins. Never mind that rents are actually holding steady and actually decrease the median rent.
Mayor Ramos-Herbert is the first woman and first person of color to become mayor of New Rochelle. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Lowe's knows tough jobs call for tougher tools. The new DeWalt Elite Series power tool accessories are built to last for the pro who doesn't stop. With precision fitment, durability, and impact resistance, finishing jobs faster has never been easier. Shop the new DeWalt Elite Series at an everyday low price exclusively at Lowe's. We help, you save.
Moms and dads, do you wish you could know where your kids' shoes are at all times? Now you can with Skechers' newest Apple AirTag compatible sneakers, Find My Skechers. There's a clever hidden AirTag compartment under the shoe's insole. It's sleek, secure, and your child can't feel or see it. Then you can check where your kids' shoes are on the Find My app. Plus, they're available for boys and girls. Get Find My Skechers at Skechers.com, a Skechers store near you, or wherever kids' shoes are sold. Apple AirTags sold separately.
Welcome to Chemical of the Month by the community scientists at Rise St. James. This month we spotlight phthalates, chemicals added to plastics, especially PVC, to make them more flexible and durable. But there's more. Research shows phthalates may disrupt hormones, affect reproductive health, and contribute to environmental pollution impacting our communities. Join us as we explore how these additives shape our everyday lives and the world around us. For more details, visit risestjames.org. Empower your knowledge with Rise.
Hey, New Orleans, look for important changes to your natural gas service. This summer, Delta Utilities takes over for Entergy Gas with a Louisiana-born, Louisiana-based approach to safe, clean, reliable natural gas. No interruptions or rate changes due to the transition, just dependable service and modernized technology to keep you running smoothly. Get to know us at deltautilities.com and stay tuned for more later this summer. Delta Utilities, focused on natural gas, committed to New Orleans.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
WBOK 1230 AM. This is Will Sutton, and I'm here with Chief Eddie Compass, and we want to welcome you back to the show. Right now, let's just hop into it. We've got City Councilman Joe Giarrusso, representative of District A, but more importantly for this conversation, the budget chair of our New Orleans City Council. Good morning, Councilman. Good morning, Councilman. Good morning. Good morning, Councilman.
Good morning.
Hi there.
Good morning.
Sorry about that. Good morning. Good morning. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm well. How are y'all doing this morning?
Good.
I'm doing very well. I've been knowing the councilman since he was a little bitty boy. His grandfather and I were very good friends.
That's the thing you got to love about this city. Everybody knows your mama and them. And the chief is right. I have been knowing him since I could barely see above the chem.
And he's grown up to be a very fine young man. I'm very proud to say that.
All right, great. So let's, we've talked about the Wisner Trust, the Wisner Fund previously, but thanks to you, we knew that you and City Council were working on something with LSU and other stakeholders, but we have some recent news that LSU has accepted a $5 million one-time payment. And you all approved this, I believe, last week. And in return, the city's contribution from the Wisner Trust will significantly increase. Is that a fair summary? And give us an update.
You got it all. I don't know that I have that much more to say, but yes, I mean, that's exactly what happened. And a lot of people get turned around on this trust stuff because it's lawyers and legalese, and we're just trying to make it as simple as possible. For your listeners who may not know, there was a trust created by Edward Wisner in 1914. It is our belief on the council that all the assets that are in that trust were supposed to be returned to the city in 2014. And so we have been at odds with the people who are part of that trust, people who we think have beneficiary income interests since about 2022 or 2023. And, the bottom line is we want to get back for the city what's theirs. We filed a lawsuit to try and do that. We've prevailed on two different parts of that lawsuit. Part one of the prevailing was saying that we are the owners of the property. And part two was that when the mayor signed the extension agreement in 2020, that was something the law calls an absolute nullity. It means it's as if it didn't exist. But look, we all know the court systems can be unpredictable. And while we think we definitely have the better side of the case, I think we want to make sure that we're doing what's in the best interest of New Orleanians. And B, this is another really important part. Tulane and LSU are our partners for economic development downtown. I think we're all incredibly excited about what could happen in the Bio District area downtown, Ochsner and Xavier pairing for a new med school downtown. And so it was a good opportunity for us to do two things, which is solve a conflict between the council city and those two partners, LSU and Tulane, and then also make sure that they have the tools they need to be successful. And then, Will, that's a long way of saying, to your point, LSU and Tulane each gave up their 12% interest in at least we say the beneficiary income portion. So that would change what the city has from 35% to roughly 60%. So that's a big deal.
35
to 60, correct.
That's a much stronger percentage.
Yes,
that's much stronger. Yeah, and look, Councilmember Thomas said, Joe, you're in the weeds. Explain what that means to everybody in layman's terms. And so the best thing I can say is the revenue from this property every year, annually, is somewhere between 7 to 13 million. Now, I tell people this all the time. I went to law school to avoid math, but, here I am as the budget chair trying to make this as simple as I can. Let's just say the annual revenue is $10 million per year. Well, that means before this settlement, very easy math, the city would get $3.5 million per year, which is not a bad number. $3.5 million for not taxing our residents or providing a service is good. Now it would be $6 million per year. And that's a big, big difference. And obviously we want that last 40%. So it's the whole $10 million. But for right now, the $6 million we think is a really big accomplishment and a big deal for the people of New Orleans.
Now, does it go up to $6 million with the settlement with LSU or the settlement with LSU and Tulane?
A settlement with LSU and Tulane. So essentially, LSU and Tulane each had 12%. So that's 24 on top of the 35, and then it's 58 or 59 with a fractional interest. But to make it easy, I say 60%, nearly 60% interest. So it's both of those included. So essentially, instead of having one interest, we now have three.
Wonderful.
Well, Councilman, I'm a layman also, and like in layman's terms, when you come up with that number, 7 million or 10 million, the money that's invested in the foundation, how is it determined what the return is? Is it something that's specific? Is it tied to the stock market? Is it tied to occupancy of some of the rental properties that may be involved in it? What is the determination of the actual figure that the city gets at the end of the year?
That's a great question. It's tied to the value of the property and to primarily, as I understand it, oil and gas and other leases that the city and that we have on that property. So in other words, it is absolutely contractually related. Now, you raise a second good point, which is, well, Joe, if we're saying it's $10 million, is there a chance we could have better terms, or has it been long enough? Do we need to look at, are there ways to maximize that even more? And the answer to that is also yes. And I would say probably now, either 2 meetings ago or last month, we put out an RFP to hire somebody to tell us exactly that. Because, look, Chief, we don't want to leave money on the table unnecessarily. And if there's some better deals to be struck or things that we're not doing, we want to do that. So, and look, this is not a knock on anybody inside City Hall. we're not in the oil and gas business, right? We don't have, it's not like Department of Mosquito Control or NOPD or Department of Public Works. We have people who've been working there for years and years. This is something new. So we've hired people to do two things. One, to tell us the overall value of the property overall. And then two, to look at all those leases and other things that make money for the city. And is there a better way to get money that we don't have right now? And then what's in the best interest of the city going forward? Is it to, sell some of the property, lease some of the property?
Right.
What makes the most sense is what we're interested in doing.
Yeah, because I know we have a few district responsibilities as public officials, and you want to utilize the resources to their optimal efficiency. You can't get into something that's capricious, arbitrary, or garish. You have to have something that's definitive that the people can look at, and because they depend on that money. And if it fluctuates, you don't want that fluctuation to be outside of the norms. Like I remember through statistical analysis, you don't want it to go too far on the standard deviation line. You don't want it to be at the point where you can't, depend on or can't quantify it on a regular basis. So thank you, Councilman.
Yeah, when I first got elected, I heard somebody say this principle that really encapsulates that. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it.
That's it. That's it.
Right?
That's it.
So that's all we want to do is we got to be able to measure it so we know how to manage it.
So, Councilman, is all of these proceeds now a larger number? Will all of that go to the New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Fund, or are you and the council looking at some other designations?
Yeah, we're actually looking at, since the Tourism and Cultural Fund gets a heavy amount of money from other sources, I think what we're actually going to do is put that money towards the council's Culture Bearer Fund. And we want to make sure that obviously now we have a source of money. And look, there have been a lot of people who have needs who are coming to us. And we want to make sure that we're using that money for the purpose for which it was intended. The Wisner money was meant for helping residents, helping citizens, and so we'll use it for that purpose.
Okay. So, and just for those listeners who may not know, the difference between the Culture Bearers Fund and the New Orleans Tourism and Culture Fund.
So the difference is really the entity. The simple answer is who controls them. If you're looking at New Orleans Tourism and Cultural Fund, that's the mayor who controls that fund. And the mayor's office does a number of different things with that money. Well, in chief, sometimes they'll hand out what I would call micro grants. So you may have people who get $1,000, a few $1,000, up to tens of thousands. And I think in some cases hundreds of thousands of dollars. What we've done, what the council has done, is we've created our cultural fund, but no single entity can get more than $100,000. It was just to make it so we saw some of that return and see where it's going and make sure that, everybody, not everybody, but many people.
Are you there?
And think by having a cap on that, it makes it easier to do it.
Okay. So is there another legal challenge in the works for this particular set of Wisner issues? I know there are a number of other issues, but is there another legal issue on this matter?
Yeah, so there's a couple. The issue of the ownership and the absolute nullity I mentioned earlier are now going from the trial court to the appellate court, which is the Louisiana Fourth Circuit. As I understand it, the heirs brief, I think, were due last Friday. So our lawyers will get those. Whatever happens, it will be appealed to the Supreme Court. And then the last piece that we have against now the remaining parties, the heirs, is what we call the disgorgement piece, which is the council's argument is the trust should have ended in 2014, and we have, as you all said, fiduciary obligations to residents and want to make sure we're maximizing our return. We feel compelled to do this, that we're looking to get the money back that the heirs have gotten from 2014 to present. And the district court said, well, why don't we let everything play out on the substantive issues in the appellate court, that's fine. But we're really waiting to see now what the appellate courts have to say.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for making time for us. I know you've got a busy day ahead. You got an important appointment coming up pretty darn soon. As always, we appreciate your making time for us and the WBOK family to update us about various things going on in the city or things that should be going on in the city. And the Wisner Trust has been an ongoing story. We appreciate the update.
Thank you so much, Councilman. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you, Will and Chief. Y'all have a great day.
All right. Great.
That's a good
guy. All right. So that was our update from Councilman Joe Giarrusso. And so now we know we're going to be getting more money for the city for a number of nonprofit organizations. And that money has traditionally, the city's portion has traditionally gone to the New Orleans Cultural and Tourism Fund. And now the money will be split somehow between that and the City Council's Culture Bearer Fund. So that's a new development. And so that's something for folks to be aware of. And obviously the controlling authority on the Culture Fund is the mayor, whoever the mayor is. And now the City Council and whoever's on the City Council for the Culture Bearers Fund. But the best news is that we'll have more money to work with.
That's it. We have a lot of organizations that depend on that money, so I'm very, very happy that it's going to be getting a little bigger, more robust, more money, more money, more money.
More money. Yeah.
More money.
Okay. Well, we're going to be turning gears, looking at something else been going on in the city for a number of days now. It's a sad story, sad situation, and that is that we've had a 12-year-old boy missing from New Orleans East for quite a number of days. He is Brian Vasquez. He's a 12-year-old nonverbal boy, which complicates things for any search if the person you're looking for cannot communicate. My colleague from the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com, is Missy Wilkinson, who has been covering this case, and we've got her on the line. Folks, this is WBOK 1230 AM. You're listening to the Good Morning Show. The talk line is 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422, 504-582-9422. I'm Will Sutton, and with me is Eddie Compass. We've got Missy Wilkinson on the line. Good morning, Missy.
Having me.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Fabulous, fabulous. We've got Chief Eddie Compass here as well.
How you doing, Missy?
Hi. Good morning, Chief.
Yeah, former chief of the New Orleans Police Department, so he's somewhat intimately familiar with things like that. But you've been covering this story for the number of days when this was brought to the community's attention. For our listeners who may not be caught up, can you give us a summary of where things stand with the search for Brian Vasquez, and then we can talk about more about how this is being perceived with the number of days going on?
Yes, absolutely. So this search is now in its 12th day. It's becoming increasingly desperate as the days and weeks mount for this young boy who left his home on August 14th in the early morning from his window. Police were summoned that same day and began mounting their search, and there are now federal and state and regional partners who are searching, along with a large group of volunteers from both nearby communities and faraway communities. We've seen the United Cajun Navy out there, and they have now joined forces with Los Topos, who are a professional team of nonprofit Mexican rescuers who go around the world to, sites like this, disaster sites, and lend their skills out, which they honed in 1985 in Mexico City in the aftermath of an incredibly deadly earthquake there. So this is a missing child case that has really galvanized the community and struck a chord. Even Crime Stoppers has pitched in with a $1,250 reward for anybody who has information leading to Brian Vasquez's safe return. And they don't normally do that in cases that aren't criminal cases, which this isn't yet, although NOPD has not ruled out the possibility of foul play. So that's where things stand, and people are still out there, and everybody is hoping and praying, of course, that this has a good outcome.
So this is complicated because he's nonverbal.
Correct.
But I understand from your reporting that there's some medicine that he's supposed to be taking as well. Is that true?
Yes, that I have not directly reported on, but I believe that you are correct. He is autistic, high-functioning autistic, and he does need medical care and, of course, like food and shelter too. So it's a pretty critical case.
Chief?
Missy, has the young man ever been missing before, or is this the first time?
He does have a history of sneaking out of his house from what I have seen in my colleague Michelle's reporting. So he would often go find a playground to play on, and kind of the people in his community knew that he had this tendency, and they knew who he was, and they would help bring him home when this happened. But the family had recently moved to a new address without the familiarity and without some of the security measures that they had in place. So this time they weren't so easily able to locate him.
Now, does he do it just randomly, arbitrarily, or did an event happen within the house that may have caused them to be upset to leave? Do you have any information that relates to that?
That information I don't have.
Okay. All right. And can you provide a description for anybody that, may have seen him? And
yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. He is about 5'1". He is about 86 to 100 pounds. He has brown eyes and black hair, and he was last seen wearing a diaper. So anybody who sees him can call 911. They can call the New Orleans Police Department at 821-2222, or they can call Crime Stoppers to be eligible for the award. And that is anonymous. You don't have to give your name if you're afraid of any kind of legal repercussions or police repercussions. And that number is 822-1111.
All right. Chief?
Miss, is there a website that the listeners can look onto to look at the progression of it and try to find out if they can add some information? Is there anything like that out there?
I think if you just Google NOPD Brian Vasquez, you can find their bulletin and that has circulated, or they would probably bring up any kind of news reports because it has been heavily covered. So if you want to see what the boy looks like, I would suggest Googling Brian with a Y, Vasquez, Vasquez.
Thank you very much, Missy.
All right.
Welcome.
And there are much better circumstances where somebody goes missing. The police department has minimum amount of time or circumstances when they will actually recognize that someone is missing. And this is beyond those thresholds. What are the basics, Chief, for identifying and saying somebody is missing?
Okay, well, if there's any type of foul play that's suspected, then we'll automatically put that someone is missing. If it's a small child or juvenile, we'll automatically put it out. So basically, it went out expeditiously, from what I understand. As soon as they realized the young man was missing, NOPD got on it right away. There's a different set of rules and criteria when it's a small child, and especially when it's a child with disabilities. It's instantaneous.
Okay. And Missy, as the days go on, it seems there are people who are concerned about how the New Orleans Police Department has handled this.
Yes.
What are some of the concerns, and are those concerns legitimate or fair?
Well, I cannot judge whether they're legitimate or fair. It's hard for me to judge, not being in the position of the loved ones. However, I have spoken to about 4 people who have been searching, and they have criticized NOPD for both the speed of the response. They did not like that it took 5 hours for them to respond on the scene to the call. I have also heard people that do not feel the search has been thorough enough, that the communication with the family has not been extensive enough. And basically they do not like the way the NOPD has handled it, although they are very grateful to the volunteers that have come out and are very happy with the way that the community is handling it.
So, since this has entered a 12th day, do we have the same number of volunteers, say, as we did, not in the first day or two, but in the first week with the second week and since? Or is that number dwindling? Do they need more help?
I think that the number is not dwindling. The impression that I get from speaking to volunteers is that it might actually be increasing because more people are finding out about these efforts and, lending a hand, just, going out there with machetes and rain gear and kind of looking in these swamps for themselves. So you can get in touch with these community groups if you're interested in volunteering. And I would say a person to reach there is named Marco Hernandez, and his number is 504-400-2105. So that is one person to reach out to if you're interested in going out there and helping with the efforts.
Okay, what's that number again? 504?
His number is 504-400-2105, and his name is Marco Hernandez.
Well, what do you expect to happen in terms of next steps today or this week? More of the same or anything different?
I am expecting it to be more of the same. I hope that this child is found swiftly. The unfortunate reality is that there are currently thousands of open incidents involving missing juveniles in New Orleans. And so although this case has risen in the public consciousness, it is kind of an outlier. There are so many children that go missing and we never hear about them. So we're always hoping for all of them to return safely. And this case is no exception.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Missy. Thank you for interrupting your day and giving some time to our WBOK listeners. We have a great number of listeners in New Orleans East, for sure. And the fact that one of their kids is missing and has gone missing for so long is an important matter, important issue for this listenership. So best of luck on your continued coverage on this story and all the others you cover on a daily basis with the Times-Picayune and NOLA.com.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, folks. So we've got the update on Brian Velasquez, and he's still missing. So we want to pray and for the Vasquez family, and we hope for good results. It'd be wonderful to have the young boy found and returned to his family. As his mother has said, motivation is simple for her, and that is, I have a son.
Yeah.
I have a son. If you have a kid with whatever abilities, and that is your blood or your guardian, you're their guardian, then you have that love and you care about their safety, and you're concerned when there's something you don't know. You're even concerned if they catch a cold. But to have a kid go missing, and especially for this length of time, I'm sure that is deeply, deeply troubling for that family.
Yeah, when you look at it from a perspective, it'd be troubling under any circumstances. But with the kid not being able to communicate, it just exacerbates the problem. It makes it even that much more difficult. So, we're praying, we're hoping, because there's always hope, and there's a lot of good people out there working very hard. So, we're going to say a few prayers and put it up in the hands of the Lord and pray that we have a good result.
Yep. So let's switch gears. We're going to be taking a break soon, but there's so much going on in the city and in the state and in the world. Want to remind you that there is an election coming up on October 11th, and the Urban League and about 20 other partners have been doing a series of candidate debates and forums. Up next is City Council District E. So the candidates vying to replace District Councilman Oliver Thomas, who of course is running for mayor. The candidates who want his job will be on stage tonight at Franklin Avenue Baptist Church, right off Crowder in New Orleans East. So that's 7 p.m. tonight at Franklin Avenue Baptist Church. If you have not seen or heard from these candidates, you might want to plan to be there, particularly if you live in the district, which is much of New Orleans East and the Lower Ninth Ward. And you know what? This district has so much, has had so many problems since Katrina. It was such the hot place to go.
Oh yeah.
Before Katrina, and you know, if somebody was throwing a party, it's like, it's in the East. Oh man, you know, we're on the way. We're on the way.
All the clubs were in the East.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it was really bombing. It was so hot, hot. And Katrina came.
Yeah.
And messed up so much stuff. But there's it's the largest landmass of the city of New Orleans. It could be a big city on its own, just with landmass and population. So if you don't live in the district, it might be a good opportunity for you to get to know more about New Orleans East, other than what you hear in the news about what happened in this neighborhood or what happened in that neighborhood, and things that make the news, as opposed to some other things that are happening day in and day out to make New Orleans East what it is.
And you know, I think Kevin Stamps is the captain out there, and this young man is doing an outstanding job from a crime standpoint. I mean, he's increased the patrols out there. He's utilizing the resources to their optimal efficiency. And I got to get a little pat on my back because I trained him when he was a neophyte.
All right.
And he is doing an outstanding job out there in New Orleans East.
Well, that's great. That's great. Yeah, so that is tonight at 7 p.m. The candidates for City Council District E who want to represent that district for the next 4 years. And it's important for folks to be registered and to vote. But in between registering and voting, you need to educate yourself. So this is a wonderful opportunity. For those of you who have not seen the mayoral candidates yet, there was a good program, a good forum on Saturday at the Treme Community Center. Very well attended, good, strong, diverse audience, scores of people. And man, they had orange juice and coffee and tea and muffins and crackers and iced tea and lemonade and chips, and it was like, wow, are they throwing a party? But you know what? People really appreciated it.
That's how they do it in that Sixth Ward. That's how they do it in that Sixth Ward.
People really appreciate it, and it kept people engaged. And I think some people might have been there after getting up a little later than they normally do to go to work, and they plan to attend some and then run off. But because there were some munchies, because there was food, because there was snacks, I think some people hung in a bit longer. And nice thing about this one, by Save Our Souls, they were the host of the event. Every mayoral candidate was invited. Now, every mayoral candidate wasn't there, but every mayoral candidate was invited, and the focus was Armstrong Park and the Municipal Auditorium and what you have done or what you will do as mayor, and other issues that are important to people in that part of the city, very historic and important part of our city, but also infrastructure.
Oh, yeah.
So there were a number of things discussed, and you can find that one on the SOS Facebook page. Tonight, there is a mayoral forum at the Lakefront Airport. So the doors open at 5. The program starts at 6, and it will be live streamed on WYES and it will be rebroadcast on WYES at least a couple more times after tonight. So if you can't make it, you'll be able to watch that one. And these will be the primary or most prominent candidates. We're going to have to go to a break, and after the break, we're going to be talking about news that you want to know and need to know. And we want to hear from you because this is your radio station, WBOK 1230 AM. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. We want to hear what you have to say. We've heard from Councilman Joe Giarrusso. We've heard from Missy Wilkinson. We've heard about the Wisner Trust Fund. We've heard about the missing boy. We're talking about elections and campaigns and community events. And we've got more to talk about. We want to know what you want to talk about. What's on your mind? 504-582-9422. This is WBOK 1230 AM, the station that New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Still a hot day up ahead with highs into the mid-90s. We'll feel like the upper 90s. We are dealing with slightly lower dew points, but more noticeable as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday as a front moves through. Slightly lower chances for rain for today and the next couple of days. By Wednesday, highs likely going to be into the upper 80s. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
Marking 20 years since Hurricane Katrina.
Tell me what would happen if today was the last time you heard that drum beat or that trumpet blow. For those who struggle to get out and those who still struggle to get back, you are welcome to this place called home. If you remember, come home.
Share your story. Support the work. August 24th through 31st. A series of cultural, educational, and healing events. Visit katrina20.org to learn more.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060.
LifeCare provides valuable whole life insurance to cover final expenses such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debt. A final expense insurance policy is fast, easy, affordable life insurance that's available to anyone between the ages of 50 and 80. No medical exams, no lengthy questionnaires, and no waiting period. The application process is quick and easy. You can even apply without having to undergo a medical examination. Just answer a few questions and we'll do the rest. With the average funeral cost skyrocketing to $11,000 and Social Security only paying $255, you need simple, affordable peace of mind for you and your whole family. Don't leave behind unpaid expenses that, if left unattended, will burden your family tremendously. Benefits include a guaranteed premium that will never increase, a guaranteed cash value, and a guaranteed death benefit that can never decrease. To find out how you can get final expense insurance with a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, call LifeCare at 800-571-9955. That's 800-571-9955. 800-571-9955.
WBOK New Orleans, home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools for New Orleans.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Kilmar Abrego Garcia could be deported to Uganda after rejecting a plea deal. His lawyer says the Trump administration is using deportation threats to punish him.
It is preposterous that they would send him to Africa, to a country where he doesn't even speak the language, a country with documented human rights violations.
Abrego was wrongly deported to El Salvador earlier this year and now awaits trial in Maryland. President Trump is threatening to pull funding for Baltimore's Key Bridge, saying he may rethink the decision after clashing with Black Governor Wes Moore. Moore warned that cutting funds would hurt Maryland's economy and the nation's supply chain. And Cleveland Browns rookie QB Shedeur Sanders says he'll obviously make the roster despite a rough preseason finale with just 14 passing yards and 5 sacks. He says he aims to become a franchise-changing player. KPIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
This year marks 20 years since Hurricane Katrina changed our city and our schools forever. New Schools for New Orleans is sharing After the Storm, a special series reflecting on the past 2 decades of change and progress in public education. Through videos, personal stories, and a powerful interactive timeline and data dashboard, we explore how our schools recovered, transformed, grew, and what that progress means for our students today. Discover the videos, data, resources, and stories behind the 20 years of change at newschoolsforneworleans.org/Katrina20.
Norman Robinson is back.
Can you hear me now?
And he's taking no prisoners.
Can you hear me now?
Each weekday, Norman Robinson brings you commentary with Off the Top.
The incident was shocking, disturbing, disgusting, disappointing, and sad.
Each weekday, Off the Top with Norman Robinson is heard exclusively right here.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
With the Times-Picayune, NOLA.com, and your host this morning on the Good Morning Show on WBOK. And with me hosting today is Chief Eddie Campos.
I'm back.
Oh, boy. So, of course, this is a busy, busy week. And again, we want to know what's on your mind. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422, the WBOK talk line. This is your show. So we do want to hear from you. 504-582-9422. Give us a ring. Tell us what's on your mind. If you get a busy signal, that's all right. Give us another call. Try again, try it again. Of course, this is the big week of the Hurricane Katrina anniversary. Certainly is not a celebration because of all the pain that was suffered, experienced on that day and in subsequent days. But it is 20 years after, so there are a lot of moments and opportunities with documentary films, other films, conversations, workshops, panels, and activities. A number of those were this past weekend, and some of them were even back in June and July. So they were kind of getting ahead of what happened with the actual anniversary being on August 29th. But one of the things for you to check out is Katrina20.org, and that is a coalition of organizations, and they have a week of action. So a week of action. So there's programming pretty darn much, a day and night in 3 states, including Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So these are states that were particularly affected by Hurricane Katrina. New Orleans gets most of the attention, but the coastline along the Gulf and Alabama and Mississippi was also devastated. And so the community folks in these 3 states got together and worked on this over the last year or so to pull together a local planning committee and work with Taproot Earth and Ashe Cultural Arts Center and Junebug Productions with support from the Foundation for Louisiana and others. So it's a wonderful opportunity for those of you who are up for the opportunity to review and listen to points of view, what hasn't been done, what has been done, hope for the future. There are a lot of events, and I hope that you will check out Katrina20.org, Katrina20.org. There's something happening every single day, August 24th through August 31. And then we got, with the city of New Orleans, Katrina20.nola.gov. And that is the city of New Orleans, Mayor Cantrell's anniversary programming. And that started on the 23rd and continued on the 24th. And it is going today through Friday, August 29th. And a big summit is happening on Saturday. So you can go to Katrina20.nola.gov. So the other one is Katrina20.org. And this one is Katrina20.nola.gov. And check out what's going on with that one. So we're going to switch gears now and give a shout out to Ms. Cryer, Sylvia Cryer, over at McDonough 35 High School.
Ron Eagles.
Ms. Cryer is featured on the front page of the Times-Picayune in New Orleans today. The front page story by Marie Fazio. And I'm so glad that Marie did this for people who've been familiar with McDonough 35. If you've been around 35 long enough, no matter where the location has been, Ms. Cryer has been a part of that school and that community for so long. She has worked in the school for, you ready for this? 60 years. 60. She has been working. She is 86, and she just celebrated a birthday. She started her teaching career in 1964. How old were you, Chief?
I was 6 years old.
I was
64.
9. And she's still going. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, Ms. Cryer. We know that the students, faculty, and staff love you. We appreciate all that you have done and that you continue to do to make the McDonough 35 school what it is and to make our community what it is. So very happy birthday to Ms. Cryer. Chief, I was reading some news, and I can't believe people do some of these things that they do sometimes. But there were a couple of people who were impersonating police officers and approaching a home as if they were police officers in Texas. And the homeowner is like, no, not here. So you're impersonating a police officer. You're going to go to somebody's house impersonating a police officer. You know, people can sometimes be angry with police, but if it's like at your home and there doesn't seem to be any reason for you to be there, and so what happens to them? They impersonating police officers. They got shot and killed.
Yeah, I tell you, it's, people don't understand, there's some crazy people out here who do nefarious acts. And this happens more often than reported, that people report to be police officers. And a lot of times, guys in the drug game, they'll put on tactical gear and get these fake badges and put around their neck, and they're drug dealers impersonating police officers, robbing drug dealers. And
so they drug dealers robbing other drug dealers with police looking uniforms and equipment.
Now, one of the bad things for the drug dealers that get robbed, you're gonna go to police and say, "Oh yeah, they stole my drugs," So that's why they look at them as a victim that can't report. So it's kind of complex. I remember when I was commander of street crimes, we wore tactical gear, and we, were in the St. Bernard Project one time, and we took some guys down, and the guy said, "Y'all real police?" I said, "You see this badge?" He said, "Oh, they're real. We really go to jail." I was like, so they had been robbed.
Wow.
By drug dealers who were impersonating police.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, these folks were at home in Houston on the southeast side. This was about 11 p.m. on Friday. And the people impersonating police officers were showing up in body armor and had badges around their necks. But here's an interesting piece. But they're wearing ski masks.
Yeah.
Has there been an occasion in your career when the police officers would wear a ski mask for any reason?
Well, when an officer's going undercover.
Okay.
And he's on the scene, he may put a ski mask on.
Yeah.
If he's going in with the regular search tactical unit to identify some of the guys.
But to show up at somebody's home
that's
with a ski mask?
That's very unusual to say the least.
Yeah.
Very unusual to say the least.
Yep. Well, these people said they were serving a warrant.
Yeah. It don't work like that.
with ski mask on.
Yeah, it don't work like
and, and according to one of the folks, it's just two people and they're masked up and no police cars, no lights or anything like that. So they immediately became suspicious, according to the police in Houston. So the homeowners wouldn't answer their door and they wouldn't go away. So they started shooting through the door and they shot and killed both of them.
Whoa.
Impersonating a police officer.
I wonder how that's going to wind up in court.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
How unusual is it for a police officer to serve a warrant?
Well, we serve warrants all the time.
Right.
All the time.
All right.
All the time.
But do you go unannounced with no police car, no lights, no companion, and dressed like police, and then with ski mask?
Well, the ski mask part is something that they don't normally do. Like I say, the only circumstance if there's one officer that had been undercover and they don't want to identify him when we're on the scene. But usually you have to identify yourself when you're serving a warrant unless it'll cause danger to the officer. Like if somebody, we have information that we know somebody's in that room that's wanted for murder and they've already made it known that they're going to kill the police. They'll die before they go to jail. You may serve that warrant without announcing yourself because of officer safety. But for the generalization of a regular arrest, a regular warrant, no, you have to announce yourself going in.
Yeah. Well, we've got a question from a listener who wants to know what you can share about the short-lived Blue Beret Squad.
Oh, that was a long time ago. Yeah. I think that was the tactical units that had the Blue Berets. It was a very unique situation because the crime was at an all-time high at that time. And it was a situation where the Blue Berets were tactical officers and they basically, were an aggressive unit and they did a lot of good work. But at that time, you had a lot of corruption going on at the police department. I think that was around the time of Lynn Davis and Singleton and Renard Smith and those type of things. So it was a situation where they were getting a lot of backlash and a lot of negative publicity. So they were disbanded. I can't remember. That was so many years ago, and I think I was a sergeant at the time. When it happened. I wasn't involved in it. I was a commander of street crimes at the time. But that's all I can remember about it. I know it was short-lived. Short-lived. I don't know if Chief Taylor or Warren Woodfolk was the chief at the time. I did, like I said, that's a long time ago.
Got it. All right, we've got a caller. Good morning, Piper.
Hey, good morning, brothers. Happy Monday to you. But going back to the guys impersonating the police officers going out, that's one of my concerns now with ICE and Homeland Security going out masked up, unmarked, no identifying equipment on. And so if I'm a bad guy out there wanting to do some bad things, people it's starting to become normal to see law enforcement masked and not having gear on. So yeah, if I'm a human trafficker, I can snatch a woman off the street because we've seen it done by legitimate law enforcement. That's just not wearing markings. So for me, that like these knuckleheads in Houston tried it, but you're going to have some people that are more sophisticated and going to do some things. So that is a concern to me because, like I say, because right now legitimate police officers are going out unmarked. So, but that's my comment on that, brothers.
All right. Yeah. So I think that's an excellent point. Thanks, Piper. I think that's an excellent point. Talking about that comparison, because that's certainly on a much larger and deliberate scale.
Yeah.
I mean, this is
it's very challenging when you look at it from that perspective. When you have all these different agencies coming in town and they have different type of uniforms, different type of markings. Like you said, some of the ICE guys, their markings are hard to identify because they're very dark. So it makes some challenges. And hopefully, we don't see a trend of nefarious actions taking place by individuals impersonating police officers in New Orleans anytime soon. But I think there's a lot of safeguards that they put in place to rectify those things from happening. From a law enforcement standpoint, though.
Yeah. It's very troubling when people pretend to be police officers or law enforcement, and when law enforcement takes measures to be secretive if they're not on a special detective detail or something like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of undercover things are done mostly by the narcotics division, and on some cases by the intelligence division, according to the actual crime that they're trying to target.
Yeah. So along those lines, by the way, our talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. This is your radio station, your Good Morning Show. Let us hear from you at WBOK 1230 AM on the talk line, 504-582-9422. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with you talking about the news that you want to know and need to know, and a few other things, too. And I think we might have a surprise for you before the end of the show. So let's see if that develops. You're listening to WBOK, 1230 AM, the station that New Orleans is talking about all day long.
Start your day off right.
Just getting your day started.
Early morning gospel on WBOK.
Good Monday morning. I'm Daryl Forges with WDSU News, and here's your headlines. The New Orleans Police Department is investigating a deadly shooting in the 7th Ward on Elysian Fields Avenue. Police say a man was found shot multiple times around 5:30 this morning. There is no word yet on a suspect. The city is marking the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina with events to remember the resilience and recovery of New Orleans. It all starts with a news conference at City Hall today at 10 a.m. Then on Thursday, the Katrina 20 March and Second Line will take place in the Lower 9th Ward, with the march starting at 11 a.m. and a celebration following at Hunter's Field. Tonight, New Orleans mayoral candidates will take the stage for a forum at the Lakefront Airport Terminal. State Senator Royce Duplessis, City Council member Oliver Thomas, and Council Vice President Helena Moreno will discuss key citywide issues like infrastructure, drainage, public safety, and economic development. Former WDSU anchor Norman Robinson will moderate that forum. The event starts at 6 p.m. with doors opening at 5 o'clock, and it's open to the public. And New Orleans East residents have another chance to hear directly from the people vying to represent them. The By the People debate series continues today with the City Council District E debate. Candidates will discuss the issues that matter most to their constituents and how they plan to address them. That debate runs today from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. I'm Daryl Fortis, and that's your headlines for WBOK. Have a great day.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
I'm Michelle Woodfork, and I know what real leadership takes. It means running a jail that's safe, clean, and under control. It means tackling mental illness and addiction head-on and making reentry work. It means zero tolerance for escapes and no patience for excuses. I've spent my life in law enforcement, not chasing headlines, not playing politics, but serving people. I'm Michelle Woodfork, and I'm ready to lead as your next sheriff. Paid for by Michelle Woodfork for Sheriff.
Got unpaid parking or camera tickets in New Orleans? Here's some good news. Through August 31st, you can take care of them without paying late fees. That's money back in your pocket. Just go to NOLA.gov/no late fees to see what you owe. You can pay all at once or sign up for a payment plan and break it into monthly payments at no extra cost. That's NOLA.gov/no late fees. NOLA.gov/no late fees. Don't miss out. This offer ends August 31st. Welcome to Liberty Bank and Trust, where your financial journey transforms communities. Since 1972, our customized banking solutions power your dreams and fuel your community growth. Every dollar you invest with us circles back to empower more people, ensuring opportunities for generations. Join us at Liberty Bank. Together, we empower possibility. Visit libertybank.net to start banking with purpose. Liberty Bank. There's freedom here.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Good morning, wake up.
The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
Line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. Yes, we really do want to hear from you. You can hear our voices through these microphones on your AM radio dial, on the internet, on the station's webpage, or on Facebook Live. But what about you? What do you have to say? What's on your mind? Let us hear from you. 504-582-9422. And Chief, I think we got somebody who has something for you. Lydia, good morning.
Hello?
Hi, Chief. I just wanted to tell you I'm Warren Lawrence's first cousin.
Oh, yes. I know very, very well. It's a good man.
That's my first cousin. But listen, I had this on my mind about the little boy that's missing.
Okay.
Have anyone even thought about the fact that I have a disability also. I'm visually impaired. And what I'm thinking, he may be trying to get to what was familiar. I heard the lady say they're in a new neighborhood.
Right.
Or is it the fact that I have not heard anything about another parent? Could he have been taken by another parent?
That's a good point. You know, that's some things we have to point out to the police department. You know, when Missy called, I didn't even think about that. That's you're absolutely right. You know,
see, that's why I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. Keep us on our toes.
But seriously, my mom had dementia, and this is not the same thing. But usually, people want to get back to what they knew.
What they're familiar with, and by him being
what they're familiar with,
by him being
exactly.
kind of impaired, that you're right. That's an excellent point. You know, well, I tell you what, I'm going to call somebody with the police department after the show and try to see disseminate that information to them, because that's a very valid point.
Okay, well, thank you, and you guys have a great day.
No.
Thank you. Thank you so much for calling us.
Yeah. We're here to hear you.
Yep.
Okay.
Glad you called.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. You're listening to WBOK, 1230 a.m. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. Have any of you all been to any of the candidate forums? Did you go to any on the weekend? Did you go to any the previous week or the week before that? Well, we've got two coming up tonight. One is at 6 p.m. at the Lakefront Airport, and that's going to be featuring State Senator Royce Duplessis, City Council Member Oliver Thomas, and City Council Member Helena Moreno. So the Lakefront neighborhoods put this together with WYES, and so the candidates who were selected were based on the recent polling and other factors. So whoever hosts a forum or a debate gets to decide who's invited, and anybody invited can decide whether to participate or not. So this particular forum starts at 6 p.m. The doors open at 5. It is scheduled for 1 hour. Norman Robinson will be the moderator of that program. Again, it's for 1 hour, so it's not like it's going to eat up 3 or 4 hours of your time. If you go when the doors open, you'll be there from 5 to 6, and then from 6 to 7 for the program, and then you'll be gone. And that's if you show up at 5 when the doors open. Of course, you can show up a few minutes before 6, catch the program, and be out in, say, an hour and 10 minutes or so.
You know, I've gone to several of the forums, and they've been extremely informative. I mean, extremely informative. We have a very intelligent group of individuals that put these forums on because they're doing a really good job as far as, you know, challenging the candidates to state their opinions, state their stances on very sensitive items. Because if you're going to be the mayor, you got to be able to handle the fire. You got to be able to handle the heat.
Absolutely. And the another candidate forum is hosted by Urban League of Louisiana and their partners. And that will be at 7 p.m. at Franklin Avenue Baptist Church. And that will feature the candidates running for City Council District E. City Council District E. So put those things on your calendar. And of course, we're a host of Katrina programs. Check out katrina20.org and check out katrina20.noler.gov to see what they are up to this week. Lots and lots and lots of activities in and around the city and across Mississippi and Alabama. For those of you who have relatives over there, that would be a good opportunity to let them know what's going on and what will be happening. Again, the Lakefront Airport has the mayoral forum at 6 p.m. Doors open at 7 at the Lakefront Airport. And the City Council District E forum hosted by the Urban League, that's at 7 p.m. at Franklin Avenue Baptist Church. There's no cost. You show up, listen, and decide how you want to proceed from there. So there are a lot of things going on in and around the city. All of them are not Katrina related, but there are a number of things that are in the news, and we want to make sure that we mention some of those to you. So for those who may not have been following it, and I try to tune in periodically, there's been some heavy-duty action, military action going on in Nigeria, and at least 76 hostages, including children, were freed after the military targeted some militias with some precision airstrikes. And that just happened a couple of days ago. The airstrikes were launched on targets around, and if there are any Nigerians, forgive me for the pronunciation, and maybe you can help me out, Power Hill located in the Kinkara area of the Katsina State. And this was early on Saturday morning. And the rescued hostages include some of those who were kidnapped during an attack on a mosque. An attack on a mosque.
Wow.
I mean, and that led to the death of at least 50 people. So there were at least 50 people died because of that attack, and there were others who were captured and held as hostages. But there's been an uptick in attacks on communities in the northwest and north central regions of Africa's most populous country, Nigeria. And this is an area where farmers often clash over limited access to land and water. So you have limited land, limited water, and people want access because you need the land to grow food.
Right.
You need the water to drink and stay hydrated.
Right.
And if there's limited opportunities for that, then people are fighting over who gets access and how.
And they have an agrarian lifestyle, and they have a lot of animals and stuff, so you need the land also to graze the animals and the water to basically feed the animals. So if your livelihood is dependent on that, it will cause some type of problems when it's limited.
Yeah, so something to be aware of that's going on in another part of our global black community that deserves some attention. It's not going to be anything that fixes your pothole or fixes the traffic light, but these are some of the things that we want to pay attention to because it matters. And when some of these conflicts become much larger, then you really want to pay attention because it involves something like Gaza or it involves something like Ukraine.
Yeah.
And in those particular cases, there are black folks connected to those conflicts, the war. But there are other places where black folks are fighting black folks over land and water, like in Nigeria. And something to definitely pay attention to and just be aware of. And we'll bring some of these things to you periodically on the Good Morning Show. So there are a lot of things going on, and you certainly been aware of the redistricting. We heard from Cleo Fields on Friday about the Supreme Court case that is all about his congressional district, and also what's going on in Louisiana, looking at the state representative and state house districts. The governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has made some moves and signed some bills that will bring redistricting to the voters this fall, because in their state, the voters have to prove any moves. I'm just contrasting that with what's happening in Texas, because in Texas, the legislature can just make the move without asking the voters, because the voters elected them and they feel they have the authority and responsibility to change these seats. And that's going to mean losing at least 2 black seats in the state of Texas in Congress. And that could make a significant difference in the U.S. Congress. So you want to be paying attention to that, because something like that could be happening here in Louisiana. And pay attention to what's happening in Texas and California for now. But there are other things that could be on the rise. I'm going to mention NFL briefly. This is not really a sports show, but I think we have a number of black players that are getting scrutinized.
Oh, very much so.
And particularly with the last name Sanders.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot going on with Tampa Bay and the Cleveland Browns, and something to be aware of. But right now, we got Sean on the line, so we're going to go ahead and hear from Sean. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Morning, Sean.
All right. Man, hey, look, and just like you was about to mention about Shador, the brothers, it's like, every time we look up, we have something, to deal with for us black folk, and And, we're preaching, which is a good thing, participate in the voting and the elections and different things like that. But when we look up and we see that despite us getting some people in office, and still we see these folk, mainly, some white folk, just decide and say, I'm not going to follow the law. I'm not going to follow the rules. I'm not going to follow the Constitution. And we see that they do things despite, rules are being in place, despite, we have representation in certain areas. These people just not going to follow the rules. We see that in New Orleans. We see that in Florida. We see the president do it. And, it's becoming more and more of a problem. So it's like, when will we be deciding to have more conversations based on what we can do and rally people around situations that we can stand up and defend ourselves when some politicians and the president decide they're just going to do what they want to do? When we're going to start having those conversations that can strengthen, black folk and start saying, we voted in the people, which we should, but when these people don't listen to the law and do everything they can, to skate around it or just deviate from it and say we're not following it. When are we going to have those conversations?
Well, I think we're having those conversations right now.
Yeah, we certainly are having those conversations here.
Right, we're having right now, and when you look at it, and we're very blessed and fortunate that we have a strong representative in Congressman Troy Carter. And I mean, he has stand up and gone against the odds and against the majority to get the rights of the people out there. And he has been steadfast. And we have avenues through the court system. We have through political organizations. The Urban League is a big proponent of equality and justice. So, it's not a situation where we're sitting on our hands as a people, but it's a situation where, it's a process.
I understand it's a process, but it's like we're looking at things in our face, like they just shoving it in our face and saying, now, okay, what are you going to do about it? And I understand we keep on preaching about, we're in courts, we're doing this, we're doing that. But, it's like despite that, it's like we're still not moving forward. I mean, and I'm not saying we're not talking about it. I appreciate WBOK bringing it, addressing it, to the audience. But what I'm saying is the regular folk, the regular people, okay, when are we going to tie in just regular folk and say, look, yeah, we want you to go vote. Yes, we want you to do things. But when are we going to be like the 60s and stand up and really say, you know what? We're not going to, go for certain things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we really took a step back when it comes to, really fighting and standing. And it just seemed to me that we took a step back and all our faith is on the system and the politics, to make things better. And honestly, they may be doing the best that they can do. But we got these folk in office, man. Like I said, they're just going to do what they want to do despite the laws. Our elected officials are trying to, pass so that we won't have to work so hard. But I really think that, we have to start thinking like what we did in the 60s, and how we eradicated, certain things like Jim Crow and different things like that. You know what I'm saying? I think we really need to, put more emphasis on that aspect and not 90% on voting.
So are you saying that it's more important to be engaged in the community than to register and vote?
I'm not saying more. I'm saying that we can't put all our eggs in the basket and just saying, okay, we went out there and voted. Okay, the politicians are going to help deliver us and make things better. I'm saying that we can't have so much of faith in the system that we see is not following the laws and the rules that's put in place. You think about it. Jim Crow, unfortunately, slavery, all of that was a law. And it seems like, all of these things are happening in our face, and all we can do is almost like pray about it. All we can do is like, we're getting some elected officials and they're standing up and they're trying, but when these folks just don't want to tender to the rules of the law, I'm saying, what's the next step? And I know we talk about the wrong that's going on.
All right, Sean, I hear what you're saying. So you want a more well-rounded approach to taking care of the needs and the things that we should have and ought to have, not just for ourselves, but for our kids and our grandkids. Is that right?
Exactly. Just like Sam, there's a situation going on with them. I mean, how people just doing wrong. I mean, that's what I'm saying, like what could we rally around things like that,
right.
Real things.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Sean. I appreciate your passion and your concern. We share your passion and concern, and we are a part of that ongoing effort right here at WBOK all day long, but particularly on the Good Morning Show. Thank you so much. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM. The talk line is 504-582-9422. 504-582-9422. I promised you a surprise, and I have the surprise. The surprise is going to be right after the break. Right after the break. So right after the break, we're going to get an update on our favorite weatherman, Damon Singleton. Let's get an update on Damon Singleton.
The best.
All right.
The GOAT.
That's right.
Purple Knight.
Damon
My man.
Singleton. All right. Right after the break. You're listening to WBOK 1230 AM. The station that New Orleans is talking about all day long.
This is your news update for WBOK from WDSU. For all your news and weather, watch WDSU News, New Orleans' leader in live, local, late-breaking news. Today at noon and 4 p.m.
Still a hot day up ahead with highs into the mid-90s. We'll feel like the upper 90s. We are dealing with slightly lower dew points, but more noticeable as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday as a front moves through. Slightly lower chances for rain for today and the next couple of days. By Wednesday, highs likely going to be into the upper 80s. From the WDSU First Warning Weather Center, I'm Raven Richard.
Visit DePaul's new Algiers Health Center at 2801 General de Gaulle Drive to receive primary and preventive care for both adults and children. Services also include behavioral health, imaging, and on-site pharmacy, vision, Medicaid enrollment assistance, and more. For appointments, visit DePaulCommunityHealthCenters.org or call 504-207-3060. Hey everybody, it's Kimber White Dupree.
And it's Graylin Brian Banks from the front porch. We're coming up next.
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK.
That's right, I'm back.
And with us here is the one and only, our favorite weatherman, meteorologist, long time, 18-year career at WDSU. And as some of everybody knows, he hasn't been with WDSU, but there's a new development, and he is with NOLA.com.
NOLA.com, yeah.
All right.
So welcome, Mr. Singleton, Brother
you.
Singleton.
Thank
Purple,
you very much,
purple.
Yes, sir.
Rise
Yes, sir.
Sons.
Rise Sons.
Man, it's great to be here with y'all. It's
All
great.
right. So,
oh, man.
Wake up, Nola. You're
Wake
going to
up,
be
Nola.
helping us wake up in the morning?
Yeah, you probably know a little bit about it. It's a kind of a new venture. And it's not just weather. It's news,
No,
sports.
yeah.
It's I think they're doing lifestyle as well. And I'm part of it because I'm covering the weather aspect of Wake Up NOLA. So yeah, I'm excited, man. This is a great opportunity and adventure for me, and my first foray into TimesPicayune, NOLA.com. So I'm excited about it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, so for people who want to wake up with the NOLA.com team and Damon Singleton, what can they look for and when?
Well, so it's going to be debuting here in the next couple of days, tomorrow actually. And, NOLA.com, if you've got a subscription, they're going to be posting it on their social media pages as well. So you'll be able to see me and everything else that we do with Wake Up NOLA on a lot of different platforms.
Wow. Wow. So could you have imagined that you might be doing this particular thing, like even 5 years ago versus 20 or so many years ago?
No, man. I thought I was going to be, I thought I was going to be at DSU at least for 25 years.
Right.
But no, I didn't imagine it when I left DSU about this time last year. TimesPicayune, John Georges got in touch with me and say, "Hey, Damon, come over and talk to me." And it was a great discussion. And he was trying to make sure that he said he wanted to make sure I didn't leave NOLA.
Right.
And so we got to talking, and we've been working on and I've been working on this with his people for about a year now.
Wow.
So yeah, so it's all come together, and it launches tomorrow.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, as I think you knew this before you left WDSU, but I think you found out how deep the love for you is when you left.
I was blown away. I'm still blown away by it. The response to this community to my departures and WBOK, you guys, man, oh man, it was just it was heart wrenching. It was really something. I'd always was hoping that I was making an impact on the community besides just what I do on TV. And I get out and I'm around the community, and I'm showing up at different places all the time. And to know that I've had that much of an impact is certainly a great thing for me.
Well, you weren't just a weatherman. You basically transformed it from a socioeconomic standpoint, from a racial standpoint. I mean, everybody loved and respected you, not just because of your knowledge, but your way of breaking down complicated things to the simple person. When you look at something that you do is really technical, but when you can articulate that to the average man, that's a special gift, and you had that gift, my brother.
Wow, thank you so much for that. I'm still blown away. I hear that people still call WDSU even today, looking for me, and so that's man, oh man, it's.
So I'll give you and listeners a little inside context.
Okay.
And we won't get into all of the content, but as people know, as some people know, I wrote about your departure last year. And those columns got so much attention that day, the next day, the day it was in the paper, the following week, and so here's some context. I have columns that resonate, and people will call them up periodically, and it's like, wow, 8 more people looking at that. I wrote that 2.5 months ago, that kind of thing. Or one person, wow, I wrote that 1.5 years ago, and they spend like 2 minutes with it. It was like, oh my God, what's going on? My Damon Singleton columns, either one of them or both of them, get page views every single week since then.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just, knowing you were coming on, I just looked again to see I had more page views on both of them just in the last few days. I mean, I wrote that a long time ago. That's how much people want to know about Damon Singleton and what's going on. And that's just a piece of what I wrote. I don't know about all the other things that they're looking at, but I think somebody doing searches for Damon Singleton, Damon Singleton, Damon Singleton.
I'll bring it to another level. At church, at Franklin Avenue Baptist Church, every time Pastor Luda see Damon, he said, and I miss our weatherman, Damon Singleton. I mean, you like the weatherman of the people, my brother.
Man, thanks a lot. Fred Luter, I called Fred Luter. For a time after I left, I just kind of felt angry a lot.
Sure.
And I called Fred Luter and I said, Pastor, how do I get past this? And he gave me some great words and some great advice, and I've been on the way up ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Pastor Luther and Franklin Avenue. Yeah, every time I go there, it's like I'm coming home.
Yeah. Yep. So what are your plans for your part of Wake Up NOLA? What can we expect? Different platform? Are we going to see something similar? Are you going to be in studio? You're going to be at home? You're going to be out and about? I saw some of the promo videos, and there you are, like out and about the street.
Yeah.
Reporting.
I mean, no, throughout the city.
Yeah, right.
Well, yes to all of that. I've got a kind of a studio set up at my house. I've got the ability to take the equipment with me to different locations. I can go into the Times-Picayune office, which is where I'm headed when I leave here, and so I'll be able to do what I do from a number of different locations, and I'm excited about that as well. And there's I'll be writing the forecast for the paper as well, and there's a whole weather page that comes with that, and then what I write for NOLA.com, and then I'll be appearing every morning on Wake Up NOLA. So it's gonna be interesting, gonna be fun. We're probably gonna have some growing pains for a while, just trying to get things together. But I'm even looking forward to that.
Well, this is some inside information. I just
more
received,
inside information.
I just received, but I don't think our publisher Kevin Hall would mind if I read a portion of his note that just went out minutes ago to the staff.
All right.
Because people know I wear a couple of different hats.
Oh, yeah.
I work over there at the Times-Picayune, I'm working over here at WBOK, and very happy to be connected to the community in different ways. So here's the piece of the note that our publisher wrote about you. We, as a part of the launch of Wake Up NOLA, we're pleased to announce the addition of meteorologist Damon Singleton to the team. Damon will provide a daily morning forecast across all of our platforms in video, print, digital, and email. With 18 years of experience as a meteorologist, Damon is a trusted source on a topic that we never run out of reasons to talk about in South Louisiana. Straight from the top.
Boom. Boom. I don't want to drop this mic. Control get mad if I break it, but I wish I could drop this mic right now.
Man.
Is that nice?
That's
that
great.
went out
That's
to
great.
everybody.
Yeah. That's and I've met with Kevin a few times, and he's a great guy. I'm going to enjoy my association with him as well.
Yep. So as Damon has mentioned, there are a number of people who are going to be a part of that effort. And if it's morning in New Orleans, it's time to Wake Up NOLA, and you can see our favorite weatherman, Damon Singleton, there each and every weekend morning and on weekends or some weekends. Is that fair?
That's fair.
All right. So if people want to look you up, look up for NOLA.com platforms, and they'll be able to see you. And how can they reach you if they have something to say, want to wish you congratulations, or?
Well, they can, they can comments on the website.
Okay.
And I would imagine on every social media platform
Yes,
for the Times Picayune as well.
Yep.
And
okay,
you're reading some of the stuff.
You're right. All right. Well, we're gonna switch gears now because it's time for us to give up these seats, Chief.
Yeah.
And up next is the front porch with Graylin and Kemba, and I'm sure they've got a lot of good things in store. Thank you so much to City Council member Joe Giarrusso talking with us about Wisner. Thank you so much for Missy Wilkinson from the Times Picayune, NOLA.com, giving us an update on the missing 12-year-old. And thank you so much for Piper, Lydia, and Sean, those of you all who were called in to be a part of the engagement that is so important to this show. And we can't see you if you're listening on AM. We can't see you if you're listening on the internet. But for those of you who've been on Facebook Live, Sean and Carl and Edward and Gary and Paul, and I know I'm missing some of y'all, but thank you so much for tuning in and for watching. I'm sure we've given you a good show, but you let us know what else we can do and do better. You're listening to WBOK, 1230 AM, the station that New Orleans is talking about all day long.